The hidden science of reading, why it's more than sounding out words. In order to understand why so many students are failing to learn how to read proficiently, we must first truly understand what reading is. There are two fundamental approaches to reading instruction: one, whole language, and two, phonics. It is not the purpose of this video to debate the merits of either approach, but rather to introduce a clearer understanding about what end state each reading instruction approach is supposed to achieve. Either approach has been proven to help some students achieve reading proficiency. The debate is over which approach is best. Unfortunately, the long-standing low reading scores nationwide prove beyond any doubt that neither approach is working particularly well. For example, based upon the 2024 National Assessment of Educational Progress Reading Assessment, 70% of fourth grade students nationwide failed to score proficient. Sort of does not matter which is better, neither is working well for most students. What is reading, especially reading fluently with comprehension? How would you describe the process? Most would say it is tied to sounding out words. Is that really the case? Read a paragraph and contemplate the various processes and outcomes that had to happen in order for you to read and understand the passage. So, if asked what you read, you would be able to summarize the key points. First, you had to see the light bouncing off the page or emanating from the screen. This input stimuli had to be picked up by the receptors in your eyes and transmitted to the appropriate place in your brain for further processing. Your eyes need to know where to focus, which is known as fixation. Your eyes had to track across the page to take in the light stimuli in the proper order. When your viewing reached the end of a line, your brain had to know where to go next to continue. It had to go back to the left side down one line, then repeat. That in and of itself is an amazing feat of brain work coordinated with your visual processing system. You may have thought you were reading, but your brain has not gotten to that stage yet. Most print consists of dark letters on a white background. You thought you were seeing words, when in reality, light does not reflect off the dark surface of the letters. Only the light bouncing off the lighter surface surrounding the letters was transmitted to your eyes. In fact, the majority of the surface is a lighter color than the text, so your visual system is overwhelmed with a lot of light from the page or screen. You are not actually seeing the dark words, but the light surrounding each letter. Your brain must take in this light stimuli and work magic to determine each letter and word. It uses the contrast between the letters and the surrounding light surface that reflected light into your eye receptors. That pattern had to then be transmitted to the proper place in your brain for further processing to actually determine the dark letters and thereby words. Your brain had to create the letters and words since your eyes did not actually see them. Your eyes only saw the contrasting light patterns. What happened next? Your brain looked for word patterns. The assumption is that you were able to read the passage, thereby your brain recognized whole word patterns. Each word pattern has a name. Your brain associated the word pattern with the word name. This is known as rapid automatic naming. You did not have to think about the letters or sound anything out. You either knew the word pattern and word name, or you did not. If you were reading, your brain immediately recognized the pattern and linked the pattern to the correct word name. Then what? Your brain had to link the word name to meaning. Pattern recognition, naming, and meaning all came from long-term memory. Once you read the passage, that group of word patterns, names, and meanings went into short-term memory. This whole process is happening in different areas of the brain and has to coordinate into working memory where your brain works to make sense of what you just read. Once your brain figures out the meaning, it goes back into short-term memory and then is stored in long-term memory so you can answer questions about the passage. Once again, assuming you were able to read the passage, no words were sounded out. Phonics played a role in helping to build your memories of the word names. But the act of reading does not involve phonics directly. Now, if you did not know a particular word and you stopped reading to figure it out, phonics plays a role again, but at this point you are not reading. You are working to learn a new word. Around 80% of words are phonetically opaque, meaning the letters and letter sounds alone do not provide you with a sufficiently accurate pathway to knowing how to pronounce the word. Nor does phonics help you with meaning. Someone will either tell you the word and the meaning, or you need to look it up. In some cases, you may be able to figure out the meaning from context. The dictionary entry for most words will have to provide you with a phonetic spelling to help you understand how to pronounce the word correctly. Practically, all words you read fluently are sight words, meaning you recognize the pattern on sight, associate it with the word name, then the meaning, all automatically. If you have to work to sound out a word, then you are no longer reading. You have gone into a different process to learn a new word. Learning how to read fluently with comprehension involves a complex brain processing system. This includes 1. Processing light stimuli, 2. Pattern recognition of whole words, 3. Connecting words to their names, 4. Connecting names to meaning, 5. Memory, long-term memory, short-term memory, working memory, visual memory, and auditory memory. If any one of these elements is not working well, reading can be difficult. Phonics is important, but hopefully you can now see that the actual process of reading involves many brain processing systems. To learn more about the true science of reading, please visit www.truthaboutscienceofreading.org. I will also put links to information about the Science of Learning model and the Skill Gap model in the description. With these tools, schools and parents can help most every student become a proficient reader.